Move to the bantamweight division. We have Thomas D. Almeida taking on Albert Morales. Thomas Almeida, minus 320 favorite. Comeback on Morales, plus 260. Almeida looked like the sky's the limit. And I'm not going to say that they aren't the limit. It's just how he bounces back from that loss. And this is an interesting matchup. We got a guy that he should be a lot more technical than, a lot more skilled on the feet than, kind of a brawler on the feet in Albert Morales, but a tough guy nonetheless. I think Almeida, if the guy that we saw on the rise before the Cody Garbrandt has continued to improve on his skills, I think he puts Morales away here. I don't know about first round or even second round, but I think eventually all of those strikes and flashy techniques add up, and I think he gets the job done. By TKO, actually, interestingly enough, is a plus 130 spot here, really? So I don't hate that all that much. That I think that's the way to play this one, rather than minus 320 in parlay. No.
Yeah, this one, in some senses, to me, spells trap. Yeah. Big trap. I'll tell you why. Thomas Almeida, dude, this guy's one of the best bantamweights in the world. Yeah, but the last
time we saw him, he got knocked out.
Right. This is prior to that, though. Prior to that, he's one of the best guys in the world, and he's killing everybody. But the one thing that he has in common in most of his fights is that he is extremely hittable. And we see that in the Brad Pickett fight. Brad Pickett's getting to him. Brad Pickett's getting to him often. And I had watched this kid in Legacy, and he's getting hit a lot in Legacy, right? But it's like, oh, well, he's so young, he's going to be able to improve from that. That Pickett fight was the first time in the UFC, at least in the UFC level, that you really got to see, boy, this guy is very, very hittable. Now you go into the Garbrandt fight, and Garbrandt's the kind of guy that if you get hit by him, he gonna make you pay. And that's exactly what happens. He gets hit, he gets stunned, never recovers from it, he ends up getting knocked out. Now when I think to myself, his primary issue, besides not defending himself and not moving his head, is that he's overly aggressive. Now that's played out great for him most of his career because he's so overly aggressive that he just breaks you down and beats you down. But there's no doubting that inadvertently he's going to get hit. And if he can't take the shots, then it's going to be an issue for him. He's so young, he can take the shots. But as you mentioned, how's he going to rebound coming off this first KO loss? So now you get taken out by Cody Garbrandt. Now you're going to have to rebuild here. So they give you a fight in Brazil. Now, not only are you getting a fight in Brazil, you're not getting a top contender. You're not even getting a guy that's even conceivably ranked in the top 30. In fact, this guy just drew with Alejandro Perez's last time out, the last time we had him. But that's easy to overlook the guy. So now it's like, okay, we've got an unheralded opponent who's coming off a draw over, another fairly unheralded opponent, although, Perez is not bad by no means. We're going to give this guy an unheralded opponent in his own backyard in the co-main event. A guy that used to be ranked in the top 10 is taking a guy who's not even near the rankings right now. Why would it only be a minus 320? That is weird to me. Because it should be, think about it. Albert Morales has had one fight in the UFC, and he looked okay, but he didn't look like a world beater. He didn't look great. And this other kid was supposed to be the man. This other kid was a 3-1 favorite over Cody Garbrandt. This other kid was conceivably supposed to be fighting for a title within the next year or so. So why is it only
3-1? I think it was like minus 170 or something like that.
Well, he was, at least according to this,
minus 170, minus 180, somewhere in that mix.
He was a minus 200 favorite over Garbrandt at fight time. Okay, so that's a square 2-1, which is actually considerably pretty big, right? Mm-hmm. Garbrandt goes out there and knocks him out in under 3 minutes. He knocks him out. So what I'm saying is that if one guy was supposed to be so good and one guy's unheralded, you basically just got a shot on the show, because they needed a guy. Why would the odds only be 320? Because they can recognize the one kid fights overly aggressive. He doesn't have a plan B. His plan A is go out there and put so much fire on you that he melts you. But what he doesn't get is that that fire doesn't burn for 15 minutes. It burns for 5, maybe 10 minutes. Yeah. So he's going to get himself in a tough spot. But what we've seen with Morales is he kind of got tired too the longer that fight went. So this definitely plays towards Almeida.
And his most shining moment, I suppose, was an incredibly illegal knee against.
Incredibly illegal knee. That's his like shining bright spot. Yeah. So, all jokes aside,
it was a draw. I thought Morales should have got the nod in that fight, but
I was thanking the high heavens for that push. I was like, yeah.
Because you have Perez?
Yeah, and hey, lesson learned. I knew Morales was tough going in, and if you look at Morales, he's coming into this fight, right? And this is important to note, because he had taken out a very serviceable Mario Israel was 10-1. He knocked him out in 20 seconds. Now, Dana White was at that fight because it was looking for a fight. That's how he gets his shot in the UFC. Oh, shit, you knocked out that highly touted Brazilian guy in like under 30 seconds. We'll give you a shot. They give him a shot. It doesn't pan out for him necessarily, but at least he was able to make his mark. Now you get in this fight in Brazil against a well-known Brazilian opponent. That's a tough spot, man. The thing is, I'm looking at that line, and this line screams, put money on Almeida. It screams it. It's only minus 320. It also screams... That's what we love about MMA, Paul. Anything can happen. And anything can especially happen when you fight the way this kid does, because you're susceptible for the knockout as much as you open it to get the knockout. So I would have to say this fight does not go the distance, and I would definitely lean towards Almeida, but I'm still worried, man. I am actually worried.
Regardless of how it goes, I think it's gonna be a fun fight to watch.